Okay. So I'm here with David Spangler. We're just going to talk a little bit about, well, we're so excited that you're coming back to the 2020 Fairy Congress.
Thank you, Lindsay. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really big, powerful year. So I always feel like you don't really need any introduction. Everybody know who you are. You've been so instrumental in developing for many of us our understanding of the subtle worlds. And I'll just say, because I just went through the Journey into Fire, your sort of beginning course in your incarnational spirituality program. And what I loved about it is it's really about who we are as humans and what we bring to the table. And it's relevant for anybody in any spiritual path that, I mean, it's like, even though I've been practicing and working with my allies for so long, it really helped me in terms of up my energy and my my vibration and what I can offer to the world. So
That's wonderful, Lindsay. I'm glad to hear that.
yeah. Yeah, it was really good. And now I'm excited to continue on exploring. So I know, so this, the 2020 Congress, you'll be teaching on what you call, or what your She ally calls anwa, is that?
Yes.
And can you tell us a bit more about that?
So anwa is one of these concepts that I'm not sure it can be directly translated from the way the she perceive it and experience it to the way we might, or to what we would be familiar with in our world. On the other hand, I think of it as the perception of the field or the energy around something that indicates how it connects to its world based on what it is and what it desires to become. So it's a very dynamic concept. When my she contact speaks of the anwa of something, it's like this is not simply its identity. It's not like this is the energy field of the tree or the bush or the stone or my lamp, for that matter, or whatever it happens to be. But it's also the dynamic character of how that particular entity is engaging the world, how it's connecting to the world and being part of a living universe. So in that sense, it's like a perception of I think what we might call style. You know, if we looked at a dancer on the stage or on the ballroom floor, we would see this person, you know, his or her body and his or her present as a physical person, but there would also be a particular way in which this individual used their body to dance. So, for example, this will really date me, but it was easy to tell the difference between Gene Kelly and Fred Astaire. They were just had two very different dance styles, and yet they were both dancers. So, in a sense, the she would say Fred Astaire's anwa is different from Gene Kelly's, but it's not just looking at them as different individuals. It's also taking into account the ways in which they relate to their world.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's, at least in my spiritual perspective, this idea of connecting has gotten to be really important lately. So it sounds like the anwa, it's not just the spirit of the tree, to use the tree as an example, but how it then connects to its world, which is really how it, we all need to be connected in order to survive and flourish.
Well, yes, you know, the context in which Marielle, that's the name of my she contact, the context in which she used it and introduced it to me, it originally came out of her describing how a building was created and how they went about creating the structure. And one of the things that the builders did was to attune to the anwa of the structure. And that the sense that came across was, yes, this is the blueprint of what kind of building it is, but it's also how the building fits into the community and what the building will be used for and what it can become when it is used. And so it's a sense of the whole living spirit within that, in this case, that building, and how that will dynamically and continuously engage with the world in which it finds itself. And subsequently, my impression is that when Mario would speak of anwa, she would be using it in a context of relating to something not only in terms of what it is, but with a sense of, you know, almost what we would think of as courtesy, or a sense of empowerment or engagement with what that, whatever it was, wanted to become. So it was more than just the identity of an object or a person. It was also, what was that identity or person trying to become?
That feels very empowering when I think of, I mean, yeah, that's something that came up for me in the journey into fire, was seeing, I know we always try to see ourselves in our light, but then seeing others in their light.
Yes.
And then we're all shining brightly, and yes, it just feels
yes. Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, we're trying to keep these videos short, so that sounds like a great introduction. I'm excited now to learn more.
Well, you know, the interesting thing is, as Julie was saying, I mentioned we were doing the interview, and Julie is my wife, and I said, you know, Lindsay may ask me what I'm going to talk about, and because the event is called anwa and shape sharing, and I said, you know, I'm not really sure at this point, because I'll have to wait and see what my she contact would like me to talk about.
Yeah.
And that probably won't happen until I get up to begin talking about it.
Yes, I know how that is.
So
responding to the moment.
Yeah, we can all sit on the edge of our seats and wait for the moment.
Okay, that sounds great. All right, well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Yeah, we're so excited to see you
Yeah,
again.
and good luck with all the preparations and everything. I think it's going to be a wonderful event.
Yes.
Oh, I know it is.
Yes, me too.